everyone this day? Oh, there we go. How are you feeling? Wonderful. I'm feeling good too, and I'm ready to celebrate. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Dr. Jonathan Zenz, and we always start off with music. Shall we start off with music? All right. All right. We got to wait for the entrance cue now, right? Here we go. Something great is happening. Love is taking hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. We're drops in one ocean. Roll on.
Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. With a dream like a highest calling, be the voice of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share gifts to the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment of our greatness. Let's stand together now. Whoa, whoa.
Every day's a chance you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision and dance in new directions. Explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Live the dream, make your highest calling. Be the voice of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make the difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment of our greatness. Let's stand together. Live the dream, make your highest calling. Be the voice of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make the difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. With a moment of our greatness, let's stand together now. Let's stand together now.
Ah, yes, we are standing together in love today. Welcome, 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 welcome. What a delight. That was a beautiful meditation this morning, Deb. Thank you so much. If you were not here for the 9:30 meditation, I encourage you to participate at some time. It's really a wonderful experience that we have just before the service starts. So thank you so much for a gorgeous meditation. Really touched my soul. It touched my soul, and then I inhaled my own saliva. Excuse me. Okay, that's much better. Once again, good morning and welcome to Unity of Tucson. We are a spiritual community that celebrates love, that celebrates light, that celebrates life, that celebrates all the aspects of divine essence that we are. And we are, each and every one of us, of divine essence. That is a foundational premise upon which the entire philosophy that we offer here is built. We do teach the New Thought spiritual philosophy here. That is our premise. And our purpose is to invite the exploration of that philosophy in a safe and inclusive space so that we can master spiritual understanding, find personal purpose, and develop a spiritual path. And what I have found is that the development of a spiritual path in my life has enhanced the quality of my experience of life, and so that's why I have committed myself to this path. Now, I also say pretty much every week, you may not believe everything you hear today, and that's good. I think it is good that we challenge our beliefs. I think it's good that we hear different points of view, and I think it's good that we live life on some level in some skepticism, because that skepticism is something that can keep us motivated to move forward, to be on the continued exploration of this thing called spirituality. I think if we're not growing spiritually, then we're going the other direction. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I want to be growing spiritually. That's my desire. So we do have a vision and a mission here at Unity of Tucson. I would love for us as a community to state out loud first these words of our vision statement. Let's say this together. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. And as I always say, the vision is a manner in which we may choose to see the world. The mission are steps that we can apply in our lives to allow that vision to come into expression. So let us share these words of our mission statement together. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Just taking a moment to breathe in those ideas. Breathing in the concept? What does it mean? Not just intellectually, but in a feeling place. What does it mean to love only? What does it mean in the heart space to forgive everything? What does life look like in a state of infinite forgiveness? And what is it to remember who we are? Remember who we are. That is predicated on the idea that we know who we are to begin with. And if we're ever unclear, here's what I hold. And I invite you to consider this, that we are, each and every one of us, the outflow of divinity itself. For there can be nothing separate from infinite divine energy, God. We are that power. We are that presence. And so when we seek to remember who we are, that is what we offer. Remember that we are divine. So just breathe into that. I want to extend a special welcome to everyone who's watching us online, whether you're watching live this Sunday morning or at another time in the archive. Just know that your presence is felt as part of this experience here energetically, and I'm so grateful that you are joined with us. If you're watching us for the very first time online, a special hello to you. If you go to unitytucson.com/connect and fill out some information there, we can allow this conversation to continue. And thank you so much for being present here with us. If you're here in the room for the very first time today, I want to extend a special welcome to you as well. As you were coming in, you may have been invited to receive a gift. If you didn't receive that gift, it is available at the completion of our celebration today. But there is something else that we always like to share with those who are joining us for the first time. And so if you are comfortable, I always offer that, the caveat, right? If you are comfortable with identifying yourself as someone joining us for the first time, would you please either stand if you're able or raise your hand? Is there anyone joining us today for the first time? Welcome, grateful to see you. Grateful to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. And this is what we like to share with you. Shall we say this together? You are magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. Thank you for shining your light and sharing your magnificence with us. And I think that we should all exclaim our sense of magnificence for ourselves. And so let us all say this together, shall we? I am magnificent. I think we could do it again, shall we? I am magnificent. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing in that energy with me. Here to guide us in our Lighting the Flames of Faith ceremony, where we honor all traditions, faith traditions, religions, and spiritual paths in the world, are our keepers of the flames today. Please welcome Pamela Hopkins and Deb Benson. Where's Pamela? I know I saw Pamela. There she is. Did I have that right today? You did. Oh, okay. I mean, I can light the candles if you want. Hello. Good morning, Pamela. Surprise. I'm delighted that you're here.
Me too. We're a team.
We are.
Okay. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of surrender to divine love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. This final candle is the healing candle. It represents the revealing of the divinity at the core of all experiences. This is your candle for whatever is in your mind and heart that requires the light.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Pamela. Taking a moment to acknowledge the peace candle here, which we keep consistently illuminated, as a reflection of that consistent illumination of peace within each and every one of us. And as we allow our inner peace to inform every aspect of our lives, then right where we are, we become conduits of and expressions of infinite world peace. So let us share together in honor of this prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace reigns in the world. Just take this opportunity to center ourselves.
I breathe in, I breathe out, I take in, I give out, I let love, I let go, I release, I know.
So with that breath, I welcome one of our glorious prayer chaplains, Sherry Thomas, to guide us today with a reading in our monthly affirmation and also in prayer. Please welcome Sherry Thomas.
Good morning. The reading that I have today is by Joseph Cahillo. He interviewed many children who were facing some harsh medical diagnoses, and he asked them about courage. And this is what came out of that. It's called Courage Looks Like Me. Courage feels like a fully charged battery living on the edge of uncertainty. Courage is being the best for my future self, and that courage looks like me. Courage is a battle of gladiators, their swords clashing to be free. Courage rumbles like the roar of a lion, and that courage looks like me. Courage is the smooth and bump of a scar, a story told across my family. Courage can be strong, calm, and quiet, and that courage looks like me. Courage is the glide of a summer bird flying miles over land and sea. Courage soars in every tear I make, and that courage looks like me. Courage can feel bouncy. Fear is part of bravery. Courage is breathing through every shake, and that courage looks like me. Courage thrums in every part of you and every part of me. Courage is there when it gets too much, and that courage looks like me. Courage is a swoosh of a superhero making every villain flee. Courage is a pow and a karate chop, and that courage looks like me. Whatever the battle, I'll take the charge. I'll roar with friends and family. I'll gently glide over all bumpy ground because courage looks like me. So in case you didn't get it, courage is our word for this month. I will say the affirmation, and then we'll say it twice together. With the courage of spirit, I release all fear and face all challenges. Together. With the courage of spirit, I release all fear and face all challenges. And once again. With the courage of spirit, I release all fear and face all challenges. And I invite you now into a few moments of prayer. Just as we settle in, where we connect with our breath, and we connect with the one power and the one presence in our lives, God, the good, omnipotent. We can connect to a feeling of fullness as we open our minds and our hearts to remembering that we are one with universal consciousness and love. Through this remembering, we receive more courage, more compassion, more forgiveness, and more tenderness for ourselves and others. I speak these words, knowing it to be true, and so it is.
Thank you, Sherry. One of my delights is music, as you know, and whenever our guest who's joined us today joins us, it's an even better delight for me. So will you please welcome with today's featured song, Armin Dertadian. Thank you.
Light the candles, get the lights out, roll the rug out. It's today, though it may not be anyone's birthday, and though it's far from the first of the year, I know that this very minute has history in it. We're here. It's a time for making merry, and so I'm for making hay. Tune the grand up, dance your shoes off, strike the band up. It's today. Light the candles, fill the punch bowl, throw confetti. It's today. Life can also be lived on a weekday, so don't depend on a holiday date. If you need New Year's to bubble, then order a double and wait. There's a thing you can give life if you live life all the way. Call the cops out, hold the roof down, pull the stops out. It's today. It's today. It's today. Yeah.
Armand Dertanian. Oh, Linda Ackerman. We took it up a notch, as we are wont to do on occasion in this community. We take it up a notch, right? Well, okay, if you were ever looking for permission, you have permission. Oh, you had to ask that question. To do what, she asks. The song supports it. The song supports your permission, this permission, right? You do not need a holiday. You don't need a birthday. You don't need New Year's Day to begin living the life you have imagined. You have permission to live the life you have imagined. That's what New Thought is all about. Have you ever considered living the life you have imagined? And is there anything in your life? This is a rhetorical question. Please do not start shouting out answers. Is there anything in your life that you can look to that makes you doubt that? Just consider it for a moment. Now start to consider, is that thing that I think might be holding me back, is it true? Is it real? Or is it something I have just made up in my mind? I will tell you the answer that I hold to in my own heart, and that is, it's all made up in your mind. We perceive challenges in life, but it's only our relationship to the circumstances that we call those circumstances challenges. And that is an entirely mental construct. And so if we begin to reframe our minds, which is what New Thought is all about, it's why it's called New Thought, because it's an invitation for us to have a new thought at any given time to change the trajectory of our life. And so if we are perceiving challenges, it is our relationship in mind to those challenges that is what makes them challenges. And if we are willing to change that relationship to what we perceive as challenges, and start looking at those things perhaps as an advantage in some way, then what happens is the circumstances begin to change themselves in alignment with what we are thinking. This very minute has history in it. We're here, the lyric says. We are here. We are here to live extraordinary lives. We are here to live extraordinary lives. Like, that's what all the mystics of the ages have invited us into, to let go of any perception of anything that is counter to that idea. So if you are waiting for the right moment, stop it. Because waiting for the right moment may, on some level, be a form of cowardice, to withhold ourselves from living an extraordinary life. Now, there are many reasons why we might do this. I'm not going to go into all those reasons today, because why would I want to depress you? I mean, I can do that through the rest of the week, but on Sunday, you're here to be, enlightened and inspired, right? Not depressed. It is not uncommon that we seek change in our lives. I'm constantly seeking change in my life. I'm constantly seeking the evolution, which is how I really understand change. Change, for me, is being involved in evolution, allowing evolution to do its thing in my life. Because if I live with the faith of evolutionary thinking, then what happens is my life flows forth in loving, compassionate, kind ways. That's what I have found works for me. Change doesn't wait for an event. It awaits our decision to enact it. It awaits our decision to accept that change is part of life. That can be hard because, boy, I'll tell you, I get real comfortable in certain aspects of my life. I'm like, I don't want this to change. But sometimes that change is inevitable. It needs to change for the next new exciting thing to be born, to the next new exciting thing to flow forth into expression. The decision to enact change in our life is a decision that is rooted in courage. Rooted in courage. I love the idea of courage. I will tell you, when I decided to use courage as a theme for this month, when I decided that last fall, when I was planning out this entire year, as I said last week, I wasn't really entirely sure what I meant by courage. It was one of those words that came up for me, and I thought, oh, well, that might be something interesting to explore the construct of courage from a spiritual point of view. And I think one of the most courageous things we can do is to acknowledge our own divinity and live from that point of view. And if we are acknowledging our own sense of divinity, if we acknowledge our identity as the divine, the wholeness of us, physically, energetically, the wholeness of us is divine, because there can be nothing separate from the infinite divine power and presence that we call God. And so we are that. And if we live from the courage of our convictions that that is the truth of our lives, then our lives get better. That's why I do what I do. I say it every single week. Adopting this philosophy in my life has enhanced the quality of my experience. And so that's why I stand up here and I say, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops, y'all. It's today. This is the moment. Which you sang as well. This is the moment. Another one that gets brought to our experience not infrequently. But here's the thing. If we treat evolution, if we treat change like a holiday, like it's something that we need to schedule, I'll get to that change at some point in my life, or something that we will get to, someday, it runs the chance of always, always, always being in the future. Because here's what happens. I have this idea of something I would like to change, and I'm going to say, I will get to that someday. And as I continue to move through my life, as long as I have the consciousness of getting to it someday, see where it ends up being? It always ends up being someday. And I never actually get to it. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for to live the most extraordinary life we can imagine? What gets in the way? There's only one thing in my mind, in my heart, that I think ever gets in the way, and that's my own mind. My own conception that I can't do it, or that I have to wait for some reason. That's it. So the lyric says, don't depend on a holiday date. And then it has this, I love this. Now, this is an acknowledgement that sometimes we may want to put it in the future a little bit, right? Because the lyric says, if you need New Year's to bubble, then order a double and wait. Did you catch that? I don't really suggest that, personally. But if that's your jam, have at it. Yeah, if you're going to wait, might as well have fun while you're waiting, I guess. terrible. Terrible. But here's the spiritual truth. The infinite mind, which we call God, the infinite consciousness, which we call God, does not operate on a calendar, because infinite presence is always now. This is the moment, right here, right now. There can be no other moment. What we perceive to be the past is back there. Well, we always put the past behind us, right? That's how we always kind of consider it if we're trying to align it with a physical expression. The past is back there and the future is out there. Well, the past could very easily be out there and the future could be back there. It doesn't really matter because there is no direction in the infinite. But we put the past, we put the future outside the self, and we let them profoundly affect our present moment because of our conception of them, of those ideas. Now, a lot of it comes from anxiety, which is fear of the future. A lot of it comes from regret, which is disappointment about past events. And if we carry that regret or we carry that anxiety with us in the present moment, then every decision we make is rooted in either regret or anxiety. Regret or anxiety. What if you let go of the regret? What if you said, there is no past idea, there's no past experience, there is no past event that has any bearing on who I am in this moment, moving forward. I am the presence of God. Let go of what was, fully, not to be considered any longer, to have any bearing on my present moment. To let go of the anxiety about the future. Here's the thing. We get caught up in the anxiety of the unknown future because the future is unknown. And if we let that unknown factor take over our thinking and take over our feeling tone, then we live with resistance to the future. What if we let it go? What if we let it go? New Thought, for me, was an exciting spiritual philosophy because it was open. It was open to possibility. It was open to new ideas. It was open, saying, New Thought, here's the thing, New Thought does not claim to have all the answers. What? Does not claim to have all the answers. What New Thought claims is that we are on a continuing journey of exploring the potential answers for each and every one of us individually. And it supports the idea of finding those answers on our individual journey of life. And so I love that one of the most famous quotations of Charles Fillmore, who was one of the co-founders of the Unity movement, is this: I reserve the right to change my mind. I reserve the right to change my mind. This is a spiritual stance. It is bold. It is defiant. It is saying, I think I know, but I might not know, and so I allow myself to be open to the infinite possibilities and change my mind. Now, the Fillmores, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, and I will say, in many ways, primarily Myrtle, because, Charles was along for the ride, but it's really Myrtle who is the heart of Unity. The Fillmores established a spiritual movement and acknowledged what they offered could be wrong. What if this is all wrong? What then? That's the journey of evolution, though. That's how we thrive and grow, is by acknowledging that perhaps what we have thought is not right. It's why I also offer every single week the ideas that you may not believe everything you hear. You may not think the same well, we don't think the same thoughts. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Boy, if you knew what I was thinking sometimes, probably be glad you're not in my head. But we're not thinking the same thoughts. We're not having the same beliefs. And I'm not here to tell you what to believe or what to think. I'm here to offer the basic tenets of the philosophy in order that you may decide whether or not you put them to use in your life. That is an evolutionary idea that is not shared in many traditional spiritual philosophies. Because there are many philosophies that say, this is the answer and there's no other answer, and you must believe this. It's why we claim in New Thought traditions to not have dogma. Now, there are some things that we try to make dogmatic, but I'm always pushing back against that. Here's how I differentiate. Because you could say, well, you have those 5 principles that you talk about. Isn't that dogma? The 5 principles, of course, God is, we are. Thoughts are creative, and prayer is how we motivate those thoughts, and it is a choice to live from that point of view. Those could become very dogmatic statements. You know how I know that they are not dogmatic is because I constantly challenge them in my own life. And I encourage you to challenge those statements in your own life, especially those first 2 aspects of the principles that we teach. God is all there is, and you are that power and presence. How do you challenge that? Consider for a moment, what if that's not true? What if that's not true? Then what? How might I arrange my life with that not being the case? And you go on the journey of mind and heart to find the deeper answer and evolve into that. So that bold, defiant stance of I reserve the right to change my mind is rooted in skepticism. I believe in skepticism. New thought. I mean, this is true of many traditions, but New Thought does have this idea that I'm about to offer at play, and that is New Thought can carry an expectation that the minister has it all worked out. And in any given moment, that might be true for that given moment, but ultimately, I'm here to tell you, nope. We don't have it worked out. We're in a constant state of working it out by experimenting, and that's what life is all about. Life is meant to be an experiment. The world, this plane of action, is our laboratory to experiment with these ideas and allow ourselves to come to new conclusions about the way life is to unfold. The exploration that invites me into doubt, to be a skeptic, this actually keeps me going. And my theology, I will tell you, my personal approach to New Thought theology, it has transformed over 15 years of ministry. When I first became a senior minister 15 years ago, I have transformed. There are things that I will speak today that if I was back then looking ahead through a time machine, I would say, that guy's crazy. But there are also things that I can look back on from this point and say, wow, the things that guy was saying back then, that's crazy. Because we're in a constant state of evolution. And maybe back then, 15 years ago, the things that I say today, I wasn't ready for. And so there's a readiness factor as well in all of this. Are you ready for the evolution which is inherent within you to flow forth into expression in your life? Courage isn't having the right answer. It is being open enough to allow ourselves to keep being taught, to keep being on the exploration. I teach a lot of classes, not as many as I wish I had the, if I had the stamina right now to teach class every single night of the week, I would teach class every single night of the week. Those of you who have been my students for a significant amount of time, you will know that teaching class is one of my favorite things to do. And here's why. It's because I love to engage in the conversation that happens in the classroom, where we're all on this shared journey of exploration. And I get challenged in the classroom into what I think. I get challenged by what I think, and I get that reflected back to me, and it makes me think about it even more deeply, to ask the question, is this true? And then I live within the courage of my convictions that changing my mind is an okay thing to do. So you, as students, teach me just as much as I, a facilitator, offer to you. And probably you teach me more than I teach you. I welcome that. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were radical for their time. They were radical. I mean, if you think about the idea that in the 1880s, they were moving forth metaphysically interpreting the Bible. That was a radical thing to do in the late 19th century. A woman co-founding a spiritual movement was a radical thing to do in the 1880s. None of that was safe for them. None of it was safe for them. And I sometimes wonder, and the reason I bring that up is because I sometimes wonder, how we might have become stagnant in our spiritual evolution. I'm going to take a drink, and then I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. This is not a double, by the way. If Myrtle and Charles Fillmore walked into a Unity church today, I wonder, would they recognize it as having evolved and moved forward from where they left it? Or would parts of it feel like it's become stagnant, become too careful? Would they feel like it has gone institutional in ways that they were seeking to escape because they were bucking the trend of institutionalized spiritual philosophy in their time? Would they recognize us as having moved forward? Would they recognize us as having evolved? Because here's what I think about them. I mean, first of all, there's no way to answer that. There's really no way to answer that. But I feel I like the tension of it. I like the tension of that question. Because the tension invites expansion beyond the comfort zone. This is my belief. I believe that if Myrtle and Charles Fillmore were around in the present day, they would be embracing a lot more than we tend to embrace in the Unity movement right now, in terms of spiritual philosophies that are supportive of the New Thought idea. You know, they were very much, they interpreted the Bible metaphysically, but they were interested in Eastern philosophical traditions. They were interested in all of it, and they were exploring all of it. They didn't talk about it quite as much, but it's there. It's at the core of all that they offered. And I think that there's more and more and more that they would have been delighted by as we have evolved as a spiritual tradition. Now, the point of this is not to try to litigate a verdict, but I think of it as this. It is a reminder that they would still be asking the questions. They would not have taken anything for granted, and neither should we. Because restlessness is at the core of this spiritual movement. A lot of people aren't comfortable with restlessness. They're not comfortable not knowing, right? I get that. But if we let go of the idea that we must be discomforted by not knowing, then what I think we find is that we are on a comfortable journey of exploration. So if you still feel restless in your spiritual practice, you're in good company. You are in good company. Evolution is the nature of things. And a spiritual community that stops changing has stopped living, even if it's still breathing. I have an opinion. And I don't know why I hesitate saying this out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud. I'm like, boy, if anybody at Unity World headquarters watches this. Here's my opinion. I think that there are communities that are feeling challenged right now in growing their communities and growing the New Thought spiritual philosophy because they are afraid of taking the step in evolution, in mind and in heart, and in allowing the philosophical ideas to be expanded upon. I don't think that's the case in this community at all, because I will keep pushing the button. If you didn't know that about me, I do think I keep pushing the button. So I think there are communities out there that have stopped living even though they are still breathing. What is going to embolden them into truly living an extraordinary life, to live the life that we espouse, to live the life that is magnificently imagined? The degree to which we hold ourselves back from evolution is the degree to which we are devolving. Because I don't believe in stagnation. I don't think stagnation actually exists. I think we are either evolving or devolving. And if we are evolving, then we are growing. If we are devolving, something else is going on. And you can devolve into oblivion. And I don't want that to happen for the New Thought spiritual philosophy. I want us to continue to step into evolution, to keep challenging the ideas that we have been promoting for now, almost a couple hundred years. I mean, Charles and Myrtle started really in the 1880s, but this goes back to the Transcendentalist movement. It goes back to the teachings of Jesus. It goes back to the philosophy of the Greeks. It goes back to Eastern traditions, which predate all of it. If we are not evolving, we are devolving. And so let's evolve. Let us live life. Last year, in one of his early addresses, Pope Leo had this to offer. He said this: a church that sets no limits to love, that knows no enemies to fight, but only men and women to love, is the church that the world needs today. That's what forward motion looks like. That's what forward motion looks like. A church that sets no limits to love. Unconditional love. Can you imagine? I mean, I like to think that we express unconditional love here, but I see it conditioned sometimes, even in my own heart. And I have to step back when I recognize it within myself and say, wait, what's going on here? Why am I conditioning my love? Why am I conditioning my kindness? Why am I conditioning my expression and experience of this divine nature? And it's not up to anyone else to fix that conditioning. It is up to me to let go of the conditioning. A church that sets no limits to love, that knows no enemies to fight, but only men and women to love, is the church that the world needs today. It begs this question: what personal limit have I placed on my love? Who in my life have I filed under the title of enemy rather than person to love? I can sit here and think, yeah, there might be some people I still think of that I apply that idea to. So I'm letting you all off the hook. If somebody came to mind when I said, who might I have filed under enemy? If someone came to mind for you, I'm letting you off the hook because I have people in my sphere that I can think of, I could give them that title. But it is then up to me, it is my work to turn them from enemy into person I can love. That's my work. And it has nothing to do with anything about the core of their being. Now, I might have labeled them enemy because of their behavior. But I will not ever, this is what I seek to do. I seek to never identify anyone because of their behavior. I seek to identify them based on the truth of their being, which is divinity itself. Thank you. Every single time I step forth on this stage, one thought goes through my mind: that I experience the face of God in every single person I encounter. And I'll tell you, it's real easy to do in this room. Just look at this room. Look at this room. Faces of God everywhere. But I must apply that beyond these walls as well. So perhaps you're open to that same exploration. Just consider it, to be open to that same exploration, to let go of the consciousness of enemy and open up to every single person in your sphere, in your experience, being someone to love. There's a thank you that you can give. There's a thank you that you can give life if you live life all the way. Thank you for that song. There is a thank you you can give life if you live life all the way. Let gratitude begin to inform the way you experience people. Because if someone's behavior is counter to your state of mind, that's actually something that you're learning from. And so honor it with gratitude. I have learned something. And now I let go of the notion that that person is someone to be an enemy. I open up to the idea that that is someone to love because they have taught me something about myself. Being brave enough to change means letting love lead without limit. And that's how to live life all the way. Peace and blessings. You are magnificent. Look, it's a life practice that appeared on the wall. The life practice that I offer this week is this. Look at one belief or grudge. We can call some of our beliefs grudges. If you look at one belief or grudge you have held onto out of habit rather than conviction. Think about that for a while. What is something that you're holding on to that you've held out of habit rather than conviction? Because it's comfortable to live with that idea. And it may be something that is not supportive of your forward momentum in this journey. I invite you to reserve the right to change your mind about it, even if it means moving only an inch in a new direction. Let that inch be the beginning of a new journey. That's the life practice this week. Explore your life. You are worthy of a magnificent life. And invite us all to relax right where we are. Simply allowing ourselves to open up to whatever idea, kernel of an idea, whatever truth, or what we perceive or call the truth, to be present in our mind and in our heart right now. Allowing the conscious awareness of this idea to take root and to take form in our lives, for that is how our lives are flowing forth into expression. It all begins with ideas, and infinite ideas exist, and divine ideas are the currency of life.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the spirit.
Embrace the spirit of love.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the love.
Embrace the light.
Embrace the power.
Embrace the power of love.
Let us take this opportunity to collectively enter into a frame of mind of prayerful consideration. Opening up to that awareness of the one power, the one presence, the one source of all that is. And acknowledging that we are that, for there can be nothing separate from the magnificent, infinite divine presence and power. So the wholeness of us is divine. The wholeness of us is this creative source energy. The wholeness of us is the outflow of God's inflow of love upon itself. Knowing this to be so and accepting this as so, being on this journey of absolute questioning of this idea, I let myself acknowledge the question and live in the infinite mystery of life. And I hold firm in my resolve that each and every one of us does this in a magnificent and unique way as well. I am firmly rooted in my resolve that change is an inevitable and necessary part of the free flow of divinity into expression. And so change is a good thing, for it means we are never stagnant. It means we are never held back. And so I welcome the flow. I live with the courage to change. I trust and know that we all do this beautifully, easily, and effortlessly as expressions of divinity itself. And so with gratitude overflowing for this understanding, I simply let it be as I relax, I trust, I know, and affirm it as so by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Embrace the stillness. Embrace the now. Embrace the Spirit. Of love. Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the Spirit.
Embrace the Spirit
of love.
Thank you. It feels good. Oh, I want to acknowledge one aspect of divinity itself, which is our birthright, and that is the aspect of living lives of abundance. And that is what we celebrate at this point in our celebration. We don't pass the baskets any longer in our community, but if you would like to support our community with a share of your abundance, there's a basket here by the door leading to Harmony Hall. There's also a collection box in the foyer. But it is all rooted in the understanding of our infinite abundance that we all live with. And so to guide us in affirming that, will you please welcome a glorious prayer chaplain, Deb Benson.
I'm just full of abundance and love and all of that. So I hope you'll join me in saying this prayer. I have the faith of the source as my instant and constant supply and supplier. I have the faith of the one to open ways when to the human sense there seems to be no way. I have the faith of the infinite to guide me in all ways, knowing health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. I am steeped in gratitude and appreciation for the abundant good now flowing forth, meeting my every need. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Deb. Let's find out what's happening here at Unity of Tucson.
It's Sunday, July 12th, 2026, and here's what's happening in our magnificent spiritual community. What if every part of you, even the parts you've hidden away, deserves to be loved? Be part of a journey to this truth on Sunday, July 19th, beginning at 12:30 p.m. in the Rainbow Room with Sabrina Johnson, CSL practitioner and Unity ministerial student. Sabrina offers her workshop, Wholeness as a Radical Hospitality, where you will learn to love your whole self through the practices of meditation, journaling, and affirmative prayer treatment. Offered on a suggested $30 love offering basis. See you there. You're invited to support your fellow community members, an intrepid group of seekers who have spent the last several weeks uncovering their genius with Dr. Jonathan. They will be presenting their offerings for an in-person audience here in the sanctuary on Saturday, July 25th at 3 p.m., with a reception to follow. Did you know that our Board of Directors meetings are open to our community to be observers? The work we do is intentionally transparent, so if you want to get a sense of what happens in the leadership of our spiritual center, you're welcome to join the next one on Saturday, July 26th at 11:30 a.m. in the Rainbow Room. There are moments when we all need a place to breathe, to be held in prayer, and reminded that we are not alone. Plan to join Unity of Tucson prayer chaplains on Wednesday, July 29th at 6:30 p.m. for our quarterly healing circle. Enjoy a sacred experience where conscious healing happens and where your journey toward wellness is honored. Come as you are. We'll be waiting for you. Have you purchased your Jim Click Millions for Tucson raffle tickets yet? Here's your chance to support Unity of Tucson and possibly win a 2026 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X Roush Edition. Tickets are 1 for $25 or 5 for $100, available in the Desert Light Bookstore. All ticket sale proceeds stay here at Unity, so enjoy a chance of winning and support your community. Events, classes, connection. There are many ways to stay connected with our community. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by searching Unity Tucson. You can also sign up for our weekly email newsletter or visit unitytucson.com to explore upcoming events, classes, and more. Make your week magnificent.
Yeah. I want to say thank you to everybody who made today's celebration so extraordinary. It takes a village, and I'm so grateful for every part of our village. I want to say thank you to our keepers of the flames today, Pamela Hopkins, thank you, and Deb Benson, thank you, and also thanking Deb Benson once again for that beautiful meditation guiding us in our abundance affirmation as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to say thank you to our prayer chaplain offering the reading, our affirmation and prayer today, Sherry Thomas, thank you so much. Sherry and Deb are our official prayer chaplains on duty today, but if you would like a moment of prayer, please do seek out anyone wearing one of our prayer shawls, prayer stoles, and they are here to pray with you. They will remain here in the sanctuary at the completion of the celebration today. So please take advantage of our prayer consciousness here because it is strong. And so are you. I want to say thank you to everyone in the bookstore. I want to say thank you to Margaret in the bookstore in particular today. She's doing such an incredible job of revamping and revitalizing our bookstore, and you should check it out. Some great stuff in there. I want to say thank you to our greeters, our hospitality team, our technical team, Don and Aiden and Jim and Gavin back there. Thank you so much for all you do. You know, sometimes I forget to thank our center administrator, Sherry Hoffman, who keeps this place running, along with our magnificent operations director, which is Tyler Pierce in the back there. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to an extraordinary music team. Look at these awesome, awesome musicians. Paul Gibson, Aaron Anderson, Rafael Carruthers, and our music director, Linda Ackerman. Thank you so much. And let's hear it for our musical guest today, Armin Dertadian. Will you please stand up and take another bow? Armin Dertadian. Thank you. And I want to say thank you for showing up and shining your God light and being a part of my life. I am so blessed by each and every one of you in the room, everyone online, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. As we continue, as we find ourselves in completion today, I mean, it's going to continue our lives, but this experience is about to be complete. Let us share together this prayer of divine awareness, which will guide us into our final song. I am infinite light. I am infinite love. I am infinite power. I am infinite presence. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. Amen. Feel free to move your body if you like. I like to move my body. If you think there's nothing, what did I just say? If it's possible, it's already been done. If you think the stage is all been set, think again. You ain't seen nothing yet. The sun will come up with the wave of your hand. You're smack dab in the middle of the promised land. It all turned out just the way that you planned. Believe it, you will see it.
If you think you finally made your bed, there ain't nothing down the road ahead. If you think this is as good as it gets, think you wanna bet. Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. The sun will come up with a wave of your hand. You're smack dab in the middle of the promised land. It all turned out just the way that you planned. Believe it, you will see it. Believe it, you will see it. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet.
you plan. Believe it, you will see it. Believe it, you will see it. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Make it a magnificent week, everyone.